Hello. I hope you can see me, connect. This is Casey Love. No more Casey Fight, except for legally. And I'm sharing today day 2 of Courageous Casey's ministry. If you're just checking in, my intention is to do 90 days. And I am sharing vulnerably from my heart and just feeling like I need to speak more, and also connecting in with my self-care. Something funny on a self-care side, many people just laugh at this, but I cleaned up the dishes out of the sink into the dishwasher today. I live pretty much by myself. My 14-year-old daughter's here some of the time, and I am home all the time. And I'm wearing my Noom shirt today because I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. Let me back up. I've had my kids in kids yoga and mindfulness business for 10, 15 years. Worked my you-know-what off to get that going. I had like 5 jobs at one point and finally had it full time and worked really, really hard. And last year, different series of events kind of started showing up. So I started thinking maybe I should get a job. And I haven't had a job in like 25 years. I've been self-employed. I was a personal trainer before that, teaching yoga full time. I've always kind of done my own thing. A lot of it, I think, is my ADHD and my independence and my rebelliousness. But anyways, I applied for this job and I got it. But yet I was on a wait list, which is kind of ironic. So I started with Noom, which is moon spelled backwards. And I'll tell you more about what that means at a later point, another video. But I started working with Noom at home as a health and wellness coach on my computer all day, every day, on March 9th. And literally 4 days later, my daughter, was told school was ending and like the whole world was shutting down, right? So it's been with COVID, and it's been a really interesting process. So I'm so grateful because I feel like I was divinely guided to step into this job and this position, and I do love it. And I already 3 months in miss kind of having my own business at the same time. So that's part of my putting myself out there a little bit more. And what's interesting is that when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today in this video is that I was listening to this, or I watched this tomfoolery video that I think one of his early ones went really viral, and I put it on my Facebook page, and he was really talking about not speaking out. And a lot of people are saying if you're not speaking up, it's because you're complying. And with what's going on in the world, whether it's racism or COVID, and our world is so divided right now. And I've been contemplating kind of all day that that's kind of how I've lived my entire life. I had extreme trauma as a child, and I've been at war. I've been fighting my whole life of not wanting this or that, or not liking the way things are. And my rebel is so strong. And I've often lost a lot of opportunities, whether it's business or friendships or relationships or different things from inaction, like literally being paralyzed with too many decisions to make, and then making no decisions and not speaking up for myself or not doing what I need to do. And procrastination is a huge part of that. Although I love Danielle Laporte, and she had this card. She has these beautiful cards. They're not within reach, but one of them said procrastination can be a form of intuition. And I've actually found that that's really accurate for me. So like when I applied for this job, I had no idea the world was going to shut down. And if I did not have this job right now, as a single mom, having to pay rent to support, myself and my daughter, I would be on the streets or probably living in my parents' basement with a lot of other people. That I feel like there's a deep part of me that's sometimes guided. And we live in a society that is so quick to judge. And I hate that. And I feel like extremely judged my entire life. I do things very differently. I was the yogi 20 years ago when there was no yoga studio before it was mainstream, like the Apple, I'm the early adopter, and I've always been kind of like judged and labeled for doing weird things. And then the funny thing is, really 20 years later, or 15 years later, 5 years later, it's like, oh, I was the pioneer. And there's a part of me that just isolates because I'm very sensitive and I don't want to take on whatever other people think of me. And so that's why this is freaking scary, because I'm sharing, but I feel like I have some pretty thick skin now. And, you know, I still cry a lot, but I'm super inspired. And I've been doing some work with Tony Robbins, you know, over the internet. And, you know, he really talks a lot about clarity. And I know that a lot of my, you know, inaction and overwhelm has been due to a lack of clarity. And also, I am the queen of bright, shiny objects. I'm great at starting projects. I'm super creative, and I really suck at follow through. I should probably tell you right now, I'm going to publicly announce I'm going to work on my taxes this weekend because it's delayed till July 15th, right? So I got like 3 weeks, and I want to get them done. They're pretty far done, but anyway, so I don't know. I'm asking for all of us to be more forgiving, be more compassionate and loving, and stop judging so much. Like, if we see other people and we decide that this is the way it is, how do we know? Everybody makes meaning from their minds in their own way. So I may think that you're doing this for this reason and you're doing it for that reason. So who am I to judge? And I'm not perfect. I still judge, but what I do is I catch myself and go, oh, well, maybe they're not thinking of it that way. And here's the thing about social media with writing. And I really struggle with the written word. My grammar is horrible. My spelling is horrible. And if I just type something out on Facebook, you could interpret it 5 different ways. But if you're listening to me talk like this, hopefully my nonverbal energy and language gives you some sense that I'm coming from my beliefs, but they're just mine. You know, I'm not telling you what you should believe or anything. And so I think there's more room when we're engaged in conversation with people, or we're on the phone, or we're connecting. There's the ability for us to really communicate. And unfortunately, so much of our communication happens today over text, over social media, over written word. And that's challenging because, you know, it's not this in-time situation, this dialogue or this connection in this human way. So I think that's also part of my intention of sharing these videos, is because I am cooped up in my house all the time. I'm working on getting out more, but I'm working on the computer all day. I'm trying to work on my little side business stuff as well. And also being mindful. You know, there's so many conflicting things out there with what's going on with our health. I don't really know. And so I'm trying to be safe. I'm trying to get out there, and I am getting out there more and more. But I want to engage like this. So send me back a video, you know, or let me know if you want to have like a conversation. Let's connect and put it out there. And again, this is another area I say that. And like, I know that I am challenged with scheduling things and with planning. Planning is like a high executive functioning front brain, frontal cortex, prefrontal cortex capability that I really struggle with. So I'm continually working on that. So anyways, I probably have been talking for close to 10 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up. But I just want to tell you that I love you, and that I appreciate you watching and connecting, and stay safe and be present and smile, send love and compassion and forgiveness and judgment-free time with all the people in the world, because you and I are one. We're all one. So thank you. Namaste. And play. Yay.